Before I get started with this video, shout out to Mr. Black First for tagging me in this story under my Sundown series that I'm currently doing right now. If y'all already know, or don't know, I should say, I'm currently doing a Sundown series of videos, and right now I'm currently in the state of Kentucky. And they tagged me in this post, in this article that's talking about this ridiculous bill that Kentucky has just implemented that says that they will fine people or make it a crime and fine people if you insult a police officer. Now I bet you that thing will pass with flying colors, and watch other states start to follow suit. And you got to ask yourself, what constitutes as an insult? Because that could be an array of things, but knowing them, it won't take much, because they already know how many people don't feel some type of way about the police right now as it is, but mainly black people, because they know it's some bad blood there. A bill enhancing punishments for crimes related to rioting advanced by a Kentucky Senate committee Thursday. That bill includes language that would make it a crime to insult or taunt a police officer in Kentucky if that taunt provokes a violent response. Senate Bill 211 includes language that makes a person guilty of disorderly conduct if they accost, insult, taunt, or challenge a law enforcement officer with offensive or derisive words, or by gestures or other physical contact that would have a direct tendency to provoke a violent response from the perspective of a reasonable and prudent person. So basically, if you call them a pig, if you flip the bird, or you just straight cuss them out, they'll consider that an insult, and then they can charge you with a crime. Basically. So it's basically like you can't say anything. They have just given them more invincibility. But these are the same ones that claim their jobs are so scary. The bill was passed favorably out of a committee on a 7-3 vote, with its sponsor defending the legislation. This is not about lawful protests in any way, shape, form, or fashion, says Senator Danny Carroll. It's to protect our first responders, it's to protect our communities, it's to protect property, and that's both public and private. Well, here's the thing. A lot of them are or do deserve to be cussed out. Some of them deserve more than that, to be quite honest. But they're giving them even more protection so they can go ahead and get away with even more BS. The bill defines a riot as a public disturbance involving an assemblage of 5 or more persons, which by tumultuous and violent conduct creates grave danger or damage or injury to property or persons, and substantially obstructs law enforcement or other government function. A definition critics charge is overly broad. Police will be authorized to use defensive force in any situation that meets that definition. The bill also prohibits camping in an area where a riot occurs for 24 hours after the riot. Critics say this bill is aimed at cracking down on protesters amid the ongoing racial justice movement. It threatens free speech, it criminalizes homelessness, and it is written specifically to intimidate protesters in response to the protests that began last year, occurring the death of Breonna Taylor, said Kia Nishida of ACLU of Kentucky. The bill comes months after demonstrators made daily appearances downtown and in other areas of Louisville to speak out and call for reforms after Taylor's deadly shooting. Now, there it is. They just told you. This bill got passed down after what happened with Breonna Taylor. So this is their response to that. So they basically saying that people can't be outraged at them or their lack of doing, as far as with those 3 pigs or more that were involved with her murder, because it was let's just be real here, it was a murder. So they want to protect themselves even more with this bullshit ass bill. And they want to tell us that these are some of the strongest people. This is some weak shit. This is weak sauce. While demonstrations aren't as frequent as they were in the summer and spring, community activists have vowed to continue their efforts for reform. This is a waste of time. They could be doing anything else, and this right here is what they choose to, go forth with. I cannot take this thing seriously at all, but that's just going to cost taxpayers even more money. And like I said, this thing is so broad that they're going to abuse the hell out of this. I see it coming. They're going to abuse the hell out of this bill. It's going to be so many people who's going to be racking up in fines. I don't know if they said, they didn't mention if it was going to be a misdemeanor or a felony. But I think I read somewhere where it says it's going to be a fine, but they didn't mention this article, but I believe it was another article that mentioned it as well. Because that's some bullshit. Okay, I see it right here. I had to open up another article. It says a person convicted of this misdemeanor, so it is a misdemeanor charge, could also face a $250 fine and be disqualified from public assistance benefits for 3 months. So public assistance benefits. That's very telling. This is the bill also has a provision pushing back on the defund the police movement, stating that government entities that fund law enforcement agencies must maintain and improve their respective financial support. Let's see what else can I find here. It's pretty much nothing else other than what I've already read. But it is right there a violation of free speech. But you want to know what? This is a true violation of free speech, but you won't hear a lot of palm color come out there and speak against this because many of them are on the side of people like that. So they will agree with this. Those pro-police, Blue Lives Matter crew, they'll agree with this. But you know, it's a violation of freedom of speech or whatever what occurred on January 6th. That's a violation or an infringement on their rights. I keep telling y'all, it's two different Americas. But yeah, I won't be surprised if more cities and states adopt this later on down the line. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below to receive notifications every time I upload a new video or go live.